21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Have you ever wanted time or financial freedom and you just haven't been able to figure out the right way to get that? My name's Luke Veer, and I escaped the 9-to-5 by building website rentals and using lead generation. And now I teach people how to make $10,000 a month in passive income doing the same exact process. Growing up, I was taught that we're supposed to go to school and study really hard, get a good job, and then work until retirement age, which in the States here is 65. And shortly after starting my first role at a real job, instead of just a summertime thing, I learned very quickly that I'm not going to be able to do this for the next 40 or 50 years. I'm not a person that's cut out to sit at a desk or to take orders from people and have so much red tape in all my decision making. So I started asking my colleagues that were older than me and close to retirement age, or after that age, 65, 66, 67, if they would do anything differently. And a lot of them said the same things. They said that they wish they had started businesses, they wish they had spent more time with their family, they wish they had traveled more, and that working a job for the past 40, 50 years was a mistake because they didn't make enough money and they don't know that they have enough to retire now. And that scared me. Because I was sitting there at the very start of this, dreading, how am I going to do this for the next 45 or 50 years? There's no way. I'd start looking for the emergency exit, jump off the roof. So I started Googling how to make money online, because in my life, I don't know anybody else that's that successful. I know other business owners, but they're all trading time for money like I am, and like everybody I know is. So I was trying to find somebody that I could learn from, and I didn't know anybody in my circle, so I had to go online. And I went through a lot of different business models trying to figure out how can I make enough money and make it passive so that I don't have to work all of the time and just keep doing this for the rest of my life. And I can enjoy my life now, right now. And after trying so many business models, from drop shipping and selling on eBay and Amazon and affiliate marketing and running a Facebook ad agency and running a Google ads agency and an SEO agency, I finally figured out how to do it. And it was by renting websites to local business owners. I would find a profitable niche. I would build a website for that niche. I would get that website to the top of Google using search engine optimization, SEO. And then once it was there, people start calling. Customers start calling because it's visible. Right? People need lots of local services. And when the customers started calling, I would take those customers and use an automated system to send them to a local business. And in exchange, I would charge them a monthly rental fee, just like you would do if you owned a physical property and you had tenants. And in doing that, I took back control of my life, my time, because it was a lot of upfront work to get it set up. But after that, the leads and the customers are going to the business automatically, and I just continuously get paid on auto charge every month because I have their credit card on file paying me. And then I could do what I want with my time. And by doing that enough times and picking up a bunch of clients, it was enough money where I could replace my job. And since then, I've continued to do that over the last 7 or 8 years and made several $1 million doing this. And now I teach it in addition. So I was sitting at my office at General Electric, which was the company I had my first job at right after I got out of school. And I was trying to figure out which business model would allow me to get the kind of freedom I was looking for. And I didn't know at the time what to look for. So the thing I had in my mind was money. I had if it was like a certain dollar figure, and if I could hit enough money, say $100,000 a year, that would be enough to buy my freedom. A little bit naive, but that's what I was thinking. And I tried all these different models to try to do that. The first one I tried was multi-level marketing. I joined a company called Market America, and I tried selling vitamins and supplements, and I was recruiting people into the business model and so forth. I know a lot of people do this. And I was told how difficult it would be, but I was like, I can figure it out. And I did make some money. I got up to $1,500 a month. It was a lot of work to get to that, but obviously not enough to replace my full-time job. And I also found out that a lot of the people weren't telling the truth about the business model. When I first went to the event that company held, I was sitting in the audience listening to the people on stage, and those people were talking about making crazy amounts of money, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month. And they all said that once you got to that point and you built a team, everything would run without you. So I was trying to do the same. And I followed all these trainings, and I was listening to tons of audiobooks. I'm out during lunch at my job listening to things. I'm like taking a nap in my car because I'm so exhausted from doing this. I'm working after hours, the weekends, all trying to figure out how to make this work. And I built a team of 17 people, most of which I recruited myself. And once I got to that 1,500 a month level, I was like, oh, this is cool. I can take a break. I deserve a break. It's been months of just me working really hard trying to do this. And the second I stopped working, everybody else did too. And what I realized in doing this was that model was based on leading by example. And if you weren't going to continue doing it, nobody else would. So the idea of it being passive wasn't actually true. So once I discovered that, I tried something else. And I think the next closest I ever got was probably eBay and Amazon. I started a business with that. I met a friend in New York City who was selling liquidation goods. If you don't know this, a lot of stores like Walmart, for example, in the US here, when people return stuff, they don't put those back on the shelves. They just sell it at a fraction of the price to wholesalers. And my friend had a connection with them. So we started buying truckloads of inventory from Walmart and Bed Bath & Beyond and reselling them on eBay and Amazon. And we got that business up to $30,000 a month, $35,000 a month over the course of about a year. And we were spending all of our waking hours and after work, before work, everything working on that, trying to get that. But even that wasn't enough to replace a job, and it also wasn't passive because we had to pay for a $4,000 a month warehouse to hold all the stuff. We had to pay for employees. We're paying for truckloads of inventory at $10,000, $15,000 a pop. So, and then splitting it on top of that, and then taxes and everything, all this work, and we still have nothing to show for it. And we're working like crazy. So it's definitely not passive. And then finally, I found SEO. And it was that process, if you don't know what it is, just taking a website from invisible in Google search results, or really any search engine, and moving it up to where people see it. Because if it's at the top of Google, when someone clicks on the search results, people are going to it and it's worth money. And I created an agency, once again, making the same mistake and creating another job for myself. Also not passive. And I spent months of time, again, after work and sometimes during work, not actually working at my job, just getting paid to do nothing, trying to build this so I could escape, and trying to do cold outreach to clients and just recording videos, walking through their websites and everything that was wrong with it, and trying to show them that I know what I'm talking about, and emailing it to them saying, hey, I would love to work with you to fix this. And I picked up a bunch of clients. And one night, one of the clients called me in the middle of the night complaining about his results. And it really bothered me because I had spent so much time and so much effort to bring his site to the top and get him all kinds of traffic and calls. And before he met me, he wasn't making very much money at all. And he was buried in the search results. Nobody called him. He was paying for leads from a company called Home Advisor. And now he was getting multiple calls a day and making tons and tons of money. And I was only charging him $600 a month, which is nothing for what he does. His average ticket for the service was like 15,000. So I was way underselling it and over delivering, and he was still complaining. And it really bothered me. And I fired him as a client, and I just shut down the whole agency. I got rid of all my clients, and I decided there's got to be another way to do this. So instead of working on their projects and their websites and helping them get all these great results just to have them say, hey, we don't need you anymore, or not want to pay me what I'm worth, I started building them for myself. And I created all those digital assets, those websites for myself. I made them valuable by making them generate leads. And then this time, I picked the people I want to work with, and I allowed them to rent it from me. And because I owned it, there's no more problems. I don't have to listen if people complain. I just find somebody who values me, and I rent it to them because they know what it's worth. So after getting rid of the clients and figuring out that this method would actually work for me, I started building these like crazy. I just stopped all of the client work. There's no more sending reports to people or answering phone calls or uploading images to a website and all these things that I felt, a virtual assistant could do and that I'm probably paid too much to do. I started building these website rental assets for myself, and I just went kind of nuts. So every waking moment I was doing that. And for a good 6 months, I didn't go on dates. I didn't go out to eat. I didn't do anything. I didn't see my family. I did vacation. I didn't do anything. All I did was get up, go to work. And at lunch, I would do this. And before, I would do this. And after, from 6 p.m. when I got home off the subway till midnight, sometimes 1 or 2 in the morning. And I guess it was somewhat of an addiction, but everybody in my life was always telling me, oh, just keep your job, it's safe, or people would say you can't do this, or oh, it doesn't work, and I just kept hearing all this negative stuff, and I just really wanted to prove everybody wrong. And in addition to freeing myself, I also had this vision of being able to walk out of my job, not have to worry about that anymore, and also be able to do cool things for my parents. But it requires a certain amount of money that I would have never been able to do with a job. So I was working really hard on this, and I wasn't seeing the results initially. It was just a lot of work, and it all kind of started to make money all at the same time. Because with websites, it takes time for them to rank in the search engine and start producing leads. And I had planted all these seeds, and now 4 or 5 months down the road, all of them started producing at the same time. So I'm contacting different business owners and trying to rent out the sites, and now money's starting to come in. And because of the way I structured the websites and how I built everything, I didn't require any maintenance work from me. So my only continuous work with the things I'd already built was looking at a call report to make sure that nothing had changed, like calls were still coming in. And my time was now just being spent on new ones. And the money just kept increasing to the point where I no longer needed a job. And I walked out in the middle of the day, a little bit before lunch, and it was just really, really nice out. And I wasn't really sure what to do with myself because I've never had that kind of freedom before. And for the first week, I mean, I was burnt out from working the last 6 months really, really hard. So I just didn't do anything. I spent probably a good week and a half just eating pizza and ice cream. I went to the gym in the middle of the day. When nobody was there, I walked around the city. I did a bunch of the tourist stuff, go see the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island. And it was very strange because now I was free, but I didn't know what to do with myself, and nobody else I know is. So it was something I hadn't considered. Like, what do you do with all your time if you don't have to do anything? And after about 2 weeks, I kind of got sick of being on vacation mode, and I decided to just go back to work and build more. So for a few years, I kind of came up with a better schedule for myself where I would just continue building more and more assets. And I started hiring virtual assistants to help me do it and outsource pieces of the process. And then I started to enjoy myself more because I had all the free time. So I actually had a physical alarm at the time. I threw my physical alarm in the trash, which felt great. I started sleeping in, and just whenever I woke up, I would work until probably lunch. I would take a break. I would go to the gym and hang out a little bit. I'd work until 5 or 6, would be like normal time for a job. And then that would be it. And I still continued to work weekends and so forth just because I wanted to try to make more. And I guess it became somewhat of an addiction, and I just kept doing it. Now we're talking 8 years later, if we go to 2024, and my life is very, very different. I still work quite a bit, but I don't work on this. All of those website rental assets still pay me, and some of those websites I haven't logged into in 7 or 8 years. Well, since I like got them completed. And it's given me a lot of, well, not only time freedom, but monetary freedom. And with that, I've reinvested it into other things. So, just this past year here in July, my brother was having a similar experience to me. He was not liking the job he was at. He was not getting paid what he was worth. And he was wanting to escape the 9 to 5, escape the corporate world. And he was trying to figure out how to do it. And one of my CPA was talking to me about taxes. And I had asked her, how do I not pay taxes? Because now this is a problem for me making more money. And she said, the only way to not pay taxes is buy real estate or acquire a business. And I'd never heard of business acquisition before. So I actually attended a training completely out of state, new people, never met, paid for this event, $5,000, flew down, went to this event, and I learned that you could acquire businesses. So I came back, and my brother and I started looking for one. And our deal was that if I bought it, he would run it to also keep me passive. We just split it half and half. And that would get him out of his job. And we started trying to find something. And we looked at all different types, and we ended up buying an ice cream catering business from our hometown for $1.7 million. And we took it over, and my brother has been running it since then. We actually just started the season about a week ago, and he's crushing it. And the business is making a lot, and I don't have to be involved because that was our deal. I pay for it and he runs it. So this year he'll make 7 times what he made at his job, and he doesn't have to work for anybody anymore either, because that was our deal. I know people say you shouldn't do business with family, but I believe that you should, because I love my brother, I love my family, and my conversation with him going in was that if we're going to do this together, we can't let money come between us, because it's not worth it. So as long as it's not going to, and we can keep things running like this, it's cool. And we agreed on 50-50. So I spend most of my time trying to find new businesses for us to acquire. I also teach people how to do what I was doing with website rental. So a lot of my time is spent on that. And a lot of traveling with my girlfriend. So that's it's been different. The day that I fired all of my clients, a lot of them were my friends. The one person that complained a lot, I wasn't a big fan of him, but everybody else I really liked, and I was closer to some of them. And when I let everybody go, I told them other people that they could use for the industry that would do the same type of service that they wanted, so they'd have a seamless transition without me. And over the next year or so, I was starting to do this myself. And they watched me as I went from completely getting rid of all of their services, doing the same thing for myself and being able to free myself from having basically another job. And a lot of them came back to me and said, hey, can you teach me this? And that's where the coaching program came from. They just asked me if they could learn the same thing. Like, hey, if you're not going to do this for us anymore, can you show me how to do it? And I had never considered coaching before, but I was like, okay, I could try to do that. And I started originally doing it one-on-one. So I was one-on-one consulting with them, but then I make the same mistake like 95 times. It turned into another job again because now I had the same conversations about the same things over and over and over each week. And finally it hit me, I can't do this like that. I have to make it group coaching. And transitioning it to a group coaching method, I was still able to get them similar results to what I was getting, but it wasn't taking all of my time. So now it's really great because I get to focus on acquisitions and I get to go play golf and do the things I enjoy. And I also get to do coaching, which I find really fulfilling. It's not exactly the same as me being able to walk away from my job, but the feeling is very similar. And so now we've got all kinds of things I'm doing. So I've got the website rentals that I build with my VAs that I just do for me to keep building my passive income. I help other people do it with coaching. I'm doing acquisitions with my brother, and then just anything else I get interested in because I have a lot of free time to spend. So this business model has been an absolute game changer for me. It's completely changed my life. It's changed my family's life. It's changed a bunch of people I know's lives, just all the different members and people that have done this. So if you want to learn more about how it works and the pros and cons, I have a video walking through all of it so you can get an idea of whether this is something that might work for you or might help your situation. And if you want to check that out, you can go to website rentalcoaching.com.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskarik, connecting with listeners in 95 countries and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.